It's Friday morning in America, and your paycheck just landed in your account like a small shot of freedom. For the next 15 seconds, your brain lights up with excitement, thinking of every possible way to spend it fast. That's dopamine talking. It hits faster than your morning coffee and makes spending feel like winning the lottery. Before you realize it, you're mentally shopping, not budgeting, and your money's already gone in your head. This tiny moment is the most expensive 15 seconds of your entire financial month, and most people never notice it. Every payday, we celebrate, swipe, and scroll, pretending we're in control while slowly repeating the same mistake again. But what if those 15 seconds weren't the problem? What if they were your secret opportunity to build wealth? What if one simple habit could flip that rush into calm control and make your paycheck finally work for you? No complicated apps, no confusing spreadsheets, just one repeatable system that quietly makes you wealthier over time. Because financial success doesn't start when you earn money. It starts the exact moment you receive it in your account. The difference between staying broke and building freedom is what you do in those first few seconds after payday. The people who master money don't have stronger willpower. They simply remove emotion from the decision process. They don't let feelings control their wallet. They build a system that makes logic automatic and effortless. When you control that first moment, you control every financial choice that follows it for the rest of the month. So if you've ever opened your bank app and thought, where did it all go? This video is your wake-up call. Across America, millions of people wake up on payday, smiling as they check their bank balance before work. By Monday, that same balance looks half empty, and stress slowly replaces the Friday feeling of freedom and joy. Most blame rent, inflation, or bad luck. But the truth is, they never built a simple, repeatable money routine. They're financial sleepwalkers, spending unconsciously and confusing constant motion with real financial progress. Without direction, money leaks away like water through open fingers, and you don't notice until it's completely gone. I had a roommate in Chicago who celebrated every paycheck like a national holiday, buying drinks for everyone around. By Tuesday, he'd text me for gas money, convinced his paycheck had somehow disappeared overnight without warning. He didn't need a bigger salary. He needed structure, a system that stopped emotional spending before it began. His biggest mistake wasn't overspending. It was never assigning purpose to the dollars he worked so hard to earn. Think about it. If you don't give your money a job, every company on earth already has one ready for it. Every app, sale, and subscription online is designed to separate you from your paycheck before you can plan. That's not bad luck, it's design. They understand your psychology better than you understand your own finances. Wealthy people reverse that equation by telling every dollar exactly where to go before emotion takes over. They have rituals, not reactions. They act on purpose instead of acting on impulse or emotional fatigue. They treat every paycheck like a team of workers, each dollar with a mission that moves their future forward. The broke treat it like prize money, spending until there's nothing left to show for an entire month of effort. And once it's gone, they start the countdown again, living for payday instead of living with financial purpose. The uncomfortable truth is most Americans don't have an income problem. They have an order of operations problem. They pay landlords, credit cards, and cravings first, then hope a few dollars survive long enough to be saved. But chaos always consumes what's left, because there's never peace when your plan comes last on your priority list. Real wealth begins when you flip that order, when you pay yourself first and spend what remains intentionally. Every dollar you earn should know its destination before it ever lands in your checking account. That's not budgeting, it's leadership. It's telling your money to serve your life, not rule over it blindly. Without that control, your paycheck becomes everyone else's profit margin, not your path toward financial peace. But when you give your money direction, it quietly builds your freedom while you sleep each and every night. The first step toward that control is brutal honesty. Define what truly counts as a real, unavoidable need. Ask 10 Americans what necessities are, and you'll hear 10 different lists, mostly filled with entertainment expenses. If Netflix, morning lattes, and DoorDash deliveries are on your essential list, you're quietly losing financial ground. Real necessities are boring. Rent, food, utilities, transportation, and healthcare. Everything else is personal preference. Comfort disguised as survival is one of the most expensive illusions modern society ever sold to working people. Culture tells you comfort equals success, but that mindset quietly turns every paycheck into a slow financial leak. We normalize constant upgrades, believing convenience equals progress, but it's actually comfort inflation in disguise. The math never lies. Small comforts multiplied monthly can erase years of future financial freedom before you notice. Let's take someone earning $75,000 a year, roughly $4,700 after taxes monthly. If rent is $1,800, car $400, and food $500, that's $2,700 total essentials. That's healthy, about 57% of income, but cross 60 and your lifestyle becomes a quiet emergency. The problem is simple. We call luxuries needs so we can feel comfortable instead of feeling responsible. Lifestyle creep hides in phrases like, "I've earned it," or "I need this to relax after work." Every pay raise disappears under new bills, nicer apartments, and upgraded cars that drain your progress quietly. Inflation is real, but overspending hides behind it, pretending to be the victim while it steals your stability. The 50-30-20 rule is a great guide, but honesty matters more than mathematical perfection every time. If you can't survive with half your income on essentials, it's not your willpower. It's your cost of living. Maybe you're renting where your paycheck can't breathe, trapped by comfort instead of guided by logic. Moving might feel terrifying, but so is spending the next 40 years trapped in quiet financial exhaustion. Be brutally honest. Every unnecessary dollar today steals 1 hour of freedom from your future self tomorrow. Once you truly see that trade, overspending stops feeling rewarding and starts feeling like self-sabotage. When you separate needs from wants, clarity replaces anxiety, and confidence returns stronger than before. You'll stop asking, "Can I afford this?" and start asking, "Does this purchase serve the life I actually want?" That single question changes everything. It rewires how you view money, peace, and personal power completely. Because money management isn't about restriction. It's about redirection toward what matters most long-term. Americans aren't overworked. They're overwhelmed by distractions they mistake for opportunities and call them progress. The calmest people you know aren't the richest. They're just aligned with what their money's designed to do. They build peace, not pressure, because they finally defined what enough means and stopped moving the goalpost. True wealth isn't how much you earn. It's how quietly and intentionally you manage what already arrives. The moment you learn that difference, Payday finally starts working for you instead of working against you. The next piece of your financial routine is less glamorous but absolutely vital: protecting your credit score at all costs. Think of your credit score as your financial reputation, something that quietly decides how the world trusts your decisions. It affects everything: your mortgage rate, your car loan, your apartment approval. Even some employers check it before hiring. Here's the surprising part. The difference between excellent credit and terrible credit can be just one missed payment. If you pay 99% of bills on time, you're considered reliable. 97% makes you a risk. In school, 97% earns an A+, but in finance, it can cost thousands of dollars in extra interest. One late payment isn't just a mistake. It's a scar that lingers on your report for years and damages opportunities quietly. I once coached someone who missed a $9 subscription payment, and it tanked his score by over 60 points. That tiny oversight raised his car loan interest by 1.5%, costing him thousands unnecessarily. The system is ruthless, but the rule is simple. Make every payment on time, even the small ones you think don't matter. Automate the minimums, double-check due dates, and never let laziness erase years of responsible habits overnight. Good credit isn't exciting, but it's the foundation of every financial opportunity you'll ever have in your adult life. Treat it like oxygen. You never think about it until it's gone, and then nothing else seems to work properly. The strongest financial plans start with protection, not profit, because you can't build wealth on shaky ground. Once your credit is protected, you've earned the right to start building your safety net, your emergency fund. I know it doesn't sound thrilling, but your emergency fund is the quiet hero of every wealthy person's life. It's not about getting rich. It's about avoiding disaster when life decides to throw chaos directly at your plans. Picture this. Your car breaks down the week rent is due, or your dog needs emergency surgery at 2 a.m. Without a fund, you panic, swipe credit, and pay for one emergency 3 different times in interest later. But with a fund, you breathe, handle it calmly, and move on like it never happened, because you planned ahead. The goal is simple. Save 3 to 6 months of essential expenses in a liquid, easily accessible account. Not in the stock market, not locked away in a certificate, but sitting ready for when life punches unexpectedly. Let's say your true monthly needs are $2,700. You'd aim for roughly 8 to 16,000 saved. It sounds like a mountain, but you climb it $100 at a time, and it grows faster than you think. The value of that fund isn't just financial, it's psychological peace, the calmest sleep money can ever buy you. People underestimate peace until they lose it. That account gives it back every single night you close your eyes. Don't try to make your emergency fund earn interest. Its job isn't to grow, it's to guard everything else you build. The best place is a high-yield savings account, insured and boring, because boring is beautiful in a crisis. Once you've built that cushion, you officially graduate from survival mode into what I call the wealth building zone. And that's where step 4 begins, investing for the version of you that doesn't want to work forever. This is where most people freeze, overthink, or wait for the perfect moment that never actually arrives. But the truth is simple. The earlier you start, the easier your future becomes, because time multiplies everything. If your employer offers a retirement match, that's free money, literally doubling part of your paycheck instantly. Imagine your boss walking up every month and saying, "I'll match what you saved for your future." Would you refuse? Yet millions of Americans do, leaving billions of dollars unclaimed simply because they never filled out the form. Let's say your company matches 3% and you earn $60,000 a year. That's $1,800 free dollars. No stock, bond, or crypto gives you a guaranteed 100% return on day one. This one does. Beyond the match, aim to invest at least 10% of your gross income for long-term compounding growth. The math is powerful. $300 a month starting at age 25 grows to roughly $1 million by 65. Wait 10 years to start, and you'll retire with less than half, proving time is literally money multiplied by discipline. Most people never start because they drown in research paralysis, chasing the perfect investment strategy endlessly. But you don't need perfection, you need consistency. A simple index fund tracking the total market is enough. It's not about outsmarting professionals. It's about letting compound interest quietly do the heavy lifting for decades. Once you automate investing, you'll feel a shift. Your money starts working even when you're asleep or on vacation. And that feeling of your money earning while you rest, that's the beginning of true financial independence. Okay. After you've automated your retirement investing, your next focus is tackling all non-mortgage debt strategically. Debt isn't evil. It's just expensive when unmanaged, and it's emotionally draining when ignored for too long. There are two ways to kill it. Avalanche, where you target high interest first, or snowball, starting with the smallest balance. I prefer the snowball because personal finance is psychology, not algebra. Momentum beats math over the long run. When you clear that first debt, you feel a rush of victory that fuels the discipline to clear the next one. I once worked with someone who paid off $30,000 in 2 years using the snowball method consistently. The math said it wasn't the fastest, but emotionally it was unstoppable. Each small win built massive momentum. The key is commitment. Pick one method and don't switch halfway when progress feels slow or motivation fades. And remember, ignoring debt doesn't erase it. It compounds silently until it feels impossible to overcome later. Debt payoff is less about interest rates and more about building self-respect and restoring your sense of control. Every payment becomes a statement that says, "I'm done letting the past control my present." Once your high-interest debts are handled and your credit's clean, you've earned the right to expand your investments. Open your own retirement accounts, like a Roth IRA, where your growth is completely tax-free forever. You pay taxes now, but every dollar that grows inside that account will be yours without future government cuts. It's like planting a tree today and knowing no one can ever charge you for its fruit later. Beyond retirement, you can invest through brokerage accounts for extra flexibility and long-term wealth building. Hold investments longer than a year, and you'll qualify for lower capital gains taxes. Patience literally pays you back. Quick profits feel exciting, but slow growth builds freedom, the kind that doesn't vanish in a market correction. Long-term investors don't chase adrenaline. They chase alignment, letting time turn patience into financial power. And now that your foundation's strong, it's time for the step that separates dreamers from builders: automation. Willpower is a battery, and by Thursday night, yours is usually empty. That's why automation saves more lives than discipline. When your plan runs automatically, you win even on days you're tired, busy, or completely unmotivated. I let my paycheck sit for one day to clear, then everything moves automatically the following morning. Part goes to savings, part to investments, part to taxes. Every dollar moves before I have a chance to interfere emotionally. The beauty of automation is that it removes your weakest link, your daily mood, from every financial decision entirely. Whether you're happy or stressed, rich or broke, automation never forgets or procrastinates. It just executes the plan. But here's where most people ruin automation. They set it once and never update it when life changes. They get a raise but forget to increase savings. Or they pay off debt but never redirect that freed up money. They're on autopilot but flying with last year's map, wondering why the destination still feels out of reach. Review your systems twice a year like a pilot checking instruments. Adjust the dials before drifting off course. Automation isn't set and forget. It's set, monitor, refine, and repeat until freedom becomes predictable. My own rule, every raise gets split, half to enjoyment, half to investment. Balance keeps progress sustainable. That's how you enjoy the present without stealing from your future self's stability and peace. When you automate well, your bills pay themselves, your savings grows, and your stress level quietly disappears. You no longer rely on motivation. You rely on systems that work whether you feel inspired or not. That's how real financial adults operate. They don't chase motivation. They build mechanisms that make success inevitable. The longer you run that system, the calmer you become. The world's noise fades when your money finally listens. You stop checking your account out of fear and start checking it out of curiosity and quiet pride. That's the moment payday stops being emotional and starts being mathematical, controlled, calm, and empowering. People will ask your secret, expecting a new side hustle or investing app, but it's much simpler than that. You just stopped letting 15 seconds of emotion destroy 30 days of hard work and intention. You turned panic into process, confusion into clarity, and chaos into quiet, steady control. That's what real wealth feels like. Not flashy, not loud, just deeply calm every time you get paid. 5 years from now, you'll look back and realize how small habits quietly change the direction of your entire life. You won't need to stress about bills or markets. You'll just adjust, automate, and move confidently forward. That's the reward for doing this one simple thing every time you get paid, choosing calm over chaos. It's not complicated, but it's powerful, and most people never do it because they underestimate simplicity. You now know better. You understand that peace comes from structure, not chance, and structure starts today. So the next time payday hits your account, take those first 15 seconds and do something different. Don't scroll, don't shop. Pause, breathe, and trigger your system that turns income into impact immediately. Within 1 year, you'll see the difference in your savings, your mindset, and your sleep quality every night. Within 5 years, you'll laugh at how you ever lived without automation or a proper financial routine. And within 10 years, you'll realize that freedom was never about the amount. It was always about the plan. This process works for anyone, regardless of income, background, or the size of their first paycheck. Because wealth isn't a number, it's a habit repeated quietly until it becomes your normal way of life. If you can master this, you'll never chase another payday. You'll own everyone that comes your way. And that, my friend, is the moment money finally stops controlling you and starts working for you effortlessly. The formula is simple. Protect your credit, build your cushion, invest early, pay off debt, automate everything. Each step feeds the next, and together they form the engine that quietly compounds your peace and prosperity. Financial freedom doesn't arrive overnight. It's built one intentional payday at a time, with patience and consistency. Most people waste those 15 seconds every 2 weeks. You're about to turn them into your biggest advantage. The calmer you stay, the longer you compound, because emotion loses every battle that automation wins. Every system starts small, but momentum makes it powerful. One transfer today becomes financial confidence tomorrow. You won't need to be perfect, just persistent enough to outlast the noise and stick to your process. Because wealth isn't about genius or luck. It's about boring consistency repeated long enough to become freedom. This is how ordinary people retire early, travel freely, and live calmly while the world chases chaos and trends. They mastered those 15 seconds, and in doing so, they mastered every financial choice that followed afterward. You can do the same starting with your next paycheck. It's a choice between drifting and directing. So make that decision once, automate it, and watch how peace slowly replaces panic every payday forward. One day you'll open your bank app, not to escape stress, but to admire how calm your balance feels. That's when you'll know the system worked, not because you're rich, but because you finally feel free. You won't check balances out of fear. You'll check them out of gratitude for what your plan created. Money will no longer be a mystery. It will be a tool quietly serving the life you designed intentionally. The longer you follow this, the more unstoppable you become. Clarity compounds faster than any interest rate ever could. The process is boring, but boring wins, because excitement spends money while boredom quietly multiplies it. The hardest part is starting. The easiest part is maintaining once the system begins running on autopilot. It doesn't take talent, timing, or tricks. Just trust in the math and the patience to stay consistent. You already have everything you need: the paycheck, the plan, and the ability to click automate. Don't waste another cycle convincing yourself you'll start next month. The best moment was yesterday. The next is now. Build your foundation, trust your system, and you'll wake up one day realizing freedom quietly found you. When that day comes, remember, it all started with a single decision made in those first 15 seconds. You didn't wait for motivation. You built momentum, and momentum is the most reliable wealth generator on earth. That's what separates the dreamers from the disciplined: the willingness to repeat small things until they matter. You don't have to shout about your progress. Real wealth moves quietly while loud people keep pretending. So let others chase shortcuts. You'll chase structure, and structure always outlasts temporary excitement every time. In the end, it's not how much you earn, it's how intentionally you treat what you already have. The world sells chaos, but peace is something you quietly build, one direct deposit at a time. Every paycheck is a choice. Spend it for comfort today or shape the freedom you'll enjoy tomorrow. You can't buy calm, but you can create it by systemizing how your money moves automatically without emotion. That's the greatest secret of financial independence. Control, not accumulation, defines how wealthy you truly feel. Freedom isn't flashy, it's predictable, repetitive, and sometimes boring, but it's the kind of boring that feels amazing. Every automatic transfer, every consistent payment, every balanced decision adds up to quiet confidence and peace. That's why I say, automation is discipline disguised as technology. It saves you from your weakest moments. Do this every time you get paid, and soon your paycheck will stop being stress. It'll become structure. Within a year, you'll notice the difference. Within 5, you'll barely recognize the old version of yourself. The plan works because it's human-proof. It keeps you consistent even when life gets messy or motivation fades. Systems don't need inspiration, they just need commitment. And commitment is where transformation truly begins. So take this as your signal to start. 15 seconds of awareness that rewires the next 15 years of your life. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to act before comfort convinces you to delay another payday. Turn those 15 seconds into your advantage and watch how peace replaces panic permanently. That's how ordinary people quietly build extraordinary lives, by automating what others keep overthinking endlessly. You'll feel it one day. The calm that comes when money finally behaves exactly as you designed it to. That calm is wealth. That predictability is power. And that system is your quiet revolution against financial chaos. Do this every time you get paid, and your future self will thank you for every boring, brilliant decision you made. The calmer you stay, the longer you compound. Because in the end, peace is the highest return on investment there is.